Say your name so I can see your number.
Frederick John Gall. Yep. Eastern Exposure 2. That was like, one came out, that had Philly footage in it, right? One came out, it was when Dan Wolf first started coming around Philly. We had like maybe a line each or something. And then we actually started filming with Dan a bunch. When 2 came about, he became our filmer. He was cool. He knew how to film and he could skate too, so that was like a bonus. And then he just started coming down to Philly all the time. At the time I lived on 15th and Spring Garden. He used to come down and we used to just skate Love Park all day, every day. That's how this footage came about. I had like a couple tricks, I think, and like a line or two. I didn't mind both. It kind of worked, you know? It was kind of like a segregated crew back then. I was always down with everybody, though. Like, I was always cool with all them guys, but those other dudes would, like, have it all totally separate.
Raw, I'ma give it to you with no trivia. Roll like cocaine straight from Bolivia. My hip hop will rock and shock the nation like the Emancipation Proclamation. Weak MCs approach with slang that's dead. Them eyes are running to the wall and bang your head. I push a force, my force you're doubting. I'm making devils cower to the Caucasus Mountain. Well, I'm Messiah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Videotapes, this is like, I wish I had a VCR, because I have like a bunch of old videos too. Should we? Yeah, why not? Dan Wolf, 610-873-4572.
This shit was like a fair movie or something. Yeah, it's basically
It's gonna be some random like lady or something. Maybe it's still his number. You never know.
Hello, you've reached 610-873-4572. We are unable to take your call right now, but if you please leave your name, number, and a brief message, we'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for calling, and have a great day.
Hey, if this is Dan Wolf, what's up, Dan? This is Fred Gall. I'm checking out your video, and it had your phone number on the back of Eastern Exposure 2. We're trying to get a hold of Eastern Exposure 1, so if you could, give me a call back. 732-3. Thanks, man. Yeah, he's gonna be like, what? Off the back of a video. First time I ever went to Love Park was with a photographer named Ken Salerno. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that dude, but he's from North Jersey, and he's just like this old dude. He didn't really skate, but he shot photos for Thrasher back in the day. He introduced me to like Derek Rinaldi and Mike Kepper and all these like pretty cool dudes. He was like, we gotta go to Philadelphia. Ended up at Love Park before it was anything, and there was bushes on the top. All the main ledges had bushes about this high. You couldn't even like nose slide them. The bushes were like even with the ledge, and we just would fly down the stairs, backside 180, switch 180, just go down the levels of 3. I remember seeing Stevie back then, and he was really young, and he was just borrowing people's boards and stuff, and he was ripping. The Gap to Rail, that was probably one of my favorites. Well, I met Rick at like Bricktown Skate Park. I just remember him riding Z-rollers, Z-roller trucks, and going off, ripping mini ramp and everything. And I just thought he was a park dude. I didn't know that he was like that good at street. Actually, when I went to Love Park, it was dead of winter and it was fucking cold as hell. And Rick came to meet us because he was gonna ollie the fountain. He went for it twice, but like kicked away and just bruised his heels up. I'd seen him try that shit like probably 92 maybe. And then Choppy Omega supposedly did it before that. Yeah, he slob grabbed it, I think. Honestly. Fidi Ponte did it at the Love Park contest, yeah. That was like 93. Yeah, I think, 93, because that was before I had a board. I got a board at 94. Yeah, I used to sell weed, so everybody wanted weed, and I would run back home and just grab pockets full of eighths and just, they would be gone in like a second. I got back. It was amazing. Sold all the New York dudes weed and shit. Ryan Hickey was there, like all them old school zoo guys. And Mike V was actually there. Kevin Taylor. Jamal backflipped off the love sign, I think. Yeah. That was nuts. He did it. It was like, I think he had $100 or something, but that was crazy. $100 was a lot of money back then. But to backflip off the love sign, dude, you couldn't pay me to go stand up there, man. Yeah, I got like second, I think. I can't remember, dude. Wow, there it is. This video was like a real turning point. Sub-Zero video, real life. First and only Sub-Zero video. I had gone out to Europe for the contests, you know, those big contests, and the video had come out when I was away, and I remember hearing about it out there somehow, because people were so psyched on it, how good the footage was and how amazing it looked, because Dan was just so good. But yeah, this video was awesome, man. Yeah, they only made a certain amount of copies. I mean, it's still good. I like the Friends section a lot. Lou had clips in there. Eric Ruadi's part was only a couple clips, but Rick's part was obviously really good too. I liked the whole video. It was just a video you could watch straight through. Yeah, Eric was awesome, man. Rest in peace, man. No, Jerry Fisher actually picked the song for me because I was like, what the hell am I going to use? He's like, you're going to use this. And I always trusted Jerry, and I was like, all right, I guess that's it. And it worked out. I remember the night of the premiere, Stevie and them, their whole crew was like, yo, your part was sick, but that song, they hated it, dude. They hated it so much, it was funny as hell. In memory of Sean Miller, one of the most influential and innovative East Coast skaters of all time. He shall be missed by all who knew him as a skateboarder and as a person. Rest in peace, Sub-Zero, team, and friends. Yeah, Sean was awesome, man. I only got to meet him a few times at like Cheap Skates, and I was just a baby, probably 10 years old or something. But I got to see him skate vert and shit and rip. Him, Darren Rendito, Jay Sigafus, you know that guy? Barker Barrett. Rob Crow was another maniac. I think he might be dead too, I'm not sure. It was me, Eric, and Matt Reason, skating at night at this corner, like across from Love. If you like went to the bottom of Love and went right, like towards the highway, there was just this little kinked rail that you could ollie over. And we were just fucking around on that. And some thugs had passed by just yelling shit. And Roddy was like, fuck you. And they came back and they got out. And I was at the top of the runway, like waiting to go. I seen this dude lunge at Eric and he like jumped away and skated off. I was at the top of the stairs stuck in a corridor, so I had to go through these guys. And they had a knife, dude. And fucking, I ran and jumped down the stairs, boneless onto my board, did one of these where you lean forward and almost eat shit. Yeah. And the dude jumped and like tried to stab me and like missed and just fell. They were like drunk or whatever. And I remember running and we went to the subway. If you went into the subway, you could skate like all the way to like Lombard Street back in the day. So we just hauled ass underground. Didn't go back for a while. We were shook. Love Park was gnarly back in the day, man. Nah, no one ever jacked me. I was always down with them dudes. They would come to my house for weed. I would sell them like an eighth for $10. So they were like psyched. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Do that? Yeah.
The Gray video. What? Dude. This video was insane, man. Time Code Alien Workshop video. The second Alien Workshop video. My footage was so sketchy, if you guys can remember.
Who filmed that?
It was filmed by whoever. Yeah. Whoever could hold the camera. Like, Jerry filmed a bunch of it. He filmed the death line in SF that I almost get hit by that car. And I don't know how he made it behind me because I basically touched the hood, you know? And he went right after me and made it too. But only like he could film that line because anyone else would have died probably. That was insane. My part was so sketchy. I remember people being bummed on it because they wanted to be able to see the footage actually. But other people were psyched on it. We used to just take acid and go skate all night and like film whatever, you know. Getting my footage together for that part was insane. The Hubba Hideout footage, Keith Huffenagel filmed. I wanted to go to Hubba and Huff's like, had a video camera, so he just started randomly filming it and we got those clips. Yeah, he used to always roll with a camera and he would bust it out. So I had to like track down Huff to get that footage. That was like the last footage I got. I was like struggling to find all my shit. Some tapes got lost because we had all these metal tapes, the metal footy tapes. I actually lost a carve over the China Bank's big bench. Yeah, so that, and I lost a wall ride behind the rail in the underground in Philly. Like, you know how you go over it? I went behind it and down. On acid, man. Seriously. I don't know, I just got light and did it. But yeah, that shit got lost and I was bummed on that because I could never do that again. I didn't care. I've never seen it in regular motion either. We actually filmed for Sub-Zero. Like, Time Code was kind of like, oh, we're doing a video, we need footage, so get your footage together. It was planned, but I didn't have Dan Wolf, obviously, because my part would have been crispy clean and shit. Dude, I should have just, I don't know what happened, man. I guess he moved to Cali or something. I don't know, I kind of just lost touch with him. Yeah, I kind of wish I would have filmed it like more. All those tricks and that looking crispy would have looked so good. I like it sketchy though. Gives it more character. I went once and filmed all that shit because Dan Wolf was like, yo, we gotta go down there, and he had a vehicle. So I remember the day I went to Pulaski, the day before that, I tried ollieing the Love Fountain like 5 times, and each time I just wheel bit and just stuck, but my knees were fucked. I couldn't even walk and I was so bummed I was at Pulaski, like, but I had to force myself to skate and I ended up getting some stuff, so. Oh yeah, all them dudes. And Andy Stone, Eben Janke, remember that guy? Yeah. Ho-Jin Chang, Carlos Kenner, Brian Tucci. Brian's still ripping too. I mean, Pep was just always so chill, man, you know? He would come to Philly sometimes, and, like, that's crazy what happened to him, man. I just remember smoking weed with them dudes at night at Pulaski and shit. The Pep switch backside flip up the 3 stairs is one of my favorites for sure. That's like Pep right there. And like the line where he just switch backside flips the trash can on its side, so good. And then I think he just kick flips down the stairs, regular kick flip.
Regular backside.
Yeah, yeah. But there's a line where he just does a regular kick flip too. It's so awesome. Probably Lenny. I mean, you gotta go with Lenny because he's such a lunatic. That was right after that accident happened to him too, and he went all Jesus crazy.
Ask Jesus to forgive your sins always. Pray always, get to know the Lord. Study and obey the Bible. Quit sinning. Escape hell.
I mean, you talk about this a lot, you know.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Damn, I was a baby then too, man. Holy shit.
So-
And I'm riding the. This is my cover of Thrasher, 1994. Fred Gall rips girls who ride. Wow. Yeah, so we basically crushed Hubba, dude. Lenny's got the Switch 5.0 in the same issue. I didn't even know that. We were going at it with Hubba, man. I don't know. It was like right around the same. It was like days apart, if not the same day. It might have been the same day, but I know Lenny had to do it twice. He had to shoot the ad, and he did it, and then he went back and shot the ad. And I did this Switch 185.0 twice because I shot these photos with Gabe Morford, and then I did it for the Slap interview. So yeah, I went back with Dawes, and I did the Switch 185.0. But yeah, that day was insane. But yeah, Lenny might have been the same day because I remember leaving Hubba and then being like, dude, Lenny, Switch 5.0 there. And I was like, backside? And then, I don't know, I just did it frontside. Yeah, sure. Hell yeah.
maybe on the Hubba there.
All right. 2-2?
No, just Fred Gall.
All right. They invited me to do that interview, so I was flown out on September 1st, and I was out there for a month, so school had started while I was gone. I was like, I got a taste of the, freedom and like being out in Cali. It's like, there's no way in hell I'm going back to school. So I got back in October, and I didn't want to go to school, but I had to like show face, so I went to homeroom every day until my 16th birthday, and then I quit. Huff. The first night I flew in, I went to Roger Brown's house, and I had no idea where I was staying or anything. They had it all worked out for me. In the morning, he's like, yeah, you're staying with Keith. And I never even met Huff, or Ben Liversledge, or Chris Keefe. And they just dropped me off with them, and I was like, hey, dudes. And they were like so cool, man, like welcomed me with open arms. The first day, Sean Young and Hurley were there. I got there, and they were like, yeah, come on, dude, we're going to go skate. Take the bus up to the avenues to Fort Miley, then bomb hills all the way back. So that was my introduction to SF, and it was sick, dude. They had THC pills too, and I'm so stoned off the Cali weed and shit, and I was like, whoa, these hills are gnarly. And there's a route you could take back from Fort Miley all the way to fucking Wallenberg. So we did that, and I was just hitting all these famous spots that I was like dreamed of being at. I'm like, holy shit, it's here, I didn't meet him till a couple years later on an alien tour, actually. Oh shit, Damian Smith! Wow, the new team rider. that was his for years he was just known as the new team rider. I wonder what's up with new team rider these days. I haven't heard from him. Yeah, there was a huge crack in front of him too. You had to clear so you had to go way early. Shot by Kelly Ryan. Kelly Ryan was awesome too. Rick Howard on the back cover. I have one that I gave to my cousin, and she's gonna give it back to me, but I haven't seen it. But I definitely want it back because that one's a keeper for sure.
I've seen the shirt of Danarin.
Yeah, Neil Blender drew that.
Yeah, but I haven't seen the board.
What do we got here? Oh wow, I don't even know what this one's called. This was probably around 96, 97-ish, I would think. Yeah, this is definitely a Mike Hill graphic. What is it even? It's like a bird or something, right? Probably the metal collabo one. That one's pretty good. Do you have that one? I wouldn't give that one up, huh? I never had like to even second guess them doing my graphics. It was always just go ahead, go do it. I trust you, and they always came through. Yeah, I was super psyched, especially to have him draw like my first couple graphics. It's pretty awesome. Yeah, the guy on the horse, that one. Yeah, Chris Carter and Mike Hill did that video too. Yeah.
It was like all.
Yeah.
They all just started working.
Yeah, they had that same direction going. You got the NJ Scum in the background. NJ Scum, yeah. Oh yeah, that one was one of my favorites actually. Yeah, dude, this board was rad. It's broken now, but he actually sent me it's a piece of paneling with shapes glued to it or whatever. I guess they were just made out of, I think paper mache, yeah. And it was like a small rectangular piece of paneling, and I had it hanging on my wall for years. Like, he sent me the art piece that they did with this. And this is a slick bottom too. Oh man, that thing is skinny. Wow. It's amazing how like the tiny boards people ride. I ride like an 8 or 825. You know how they did the paper mache characters? I think I had a couple characters, but I don't know what happened to them either. Yeah, he would like spend some time on his graphics, man. That's how they're so good. I remember it just started falling apart, man. Pieces were falling off, and then I guess my mom ended up throwing it out. Probably just thought it was some random piece of trash. Dude, there's a train. Yeah, we gotta get off this track, actually.
Time to go?
I think so. We gotta hide from the train. Eastern Exposure 3, yeah. That was the one where Jerry Fisher had the part, right? I had like 2 tricks, I think. That was a good video. Fisher's part was awesome, man. That dude is so good. Yeah, he was like, told me, he's like, dude, you're gonna grind these rails and shit. Like, I didn't think a lot of the shit was possible, but he was like, way ahead of his time. He actually would make me do it. He's like, dude, you're gonna grind this shit. And I'm like, all right, I guess so. And it would work out. Well, Rick's part, that was one of his best parts ever. He skated to Metallica, I think. Yeah, that line with the 180 and the switch Wally. It's pretty rad. Towards this video, we weren't skating that much anymore together. We skated a lot, like in the earlier days, like filming for Sub-Zero and stuff. I wouldn't say it's a good one, but the time when he beat up the bum at Love Park was pretty funny. The one, I don't want to fight, Sergey Ternowski, yeah.
What exactly happened that day?
So that dude was just like, he was a crackhead, and he was just being a fucking asshole. Talking shit, sitting on the ledges, like getting in people's way. Rick was having a bad day, and he just basically took it out on that dude. It was pretty unnecessary, actually, to really beat him down like that, but I guess the guy had it coming to him. You see Serge is trying to get him out of there. He's like, go, get the hell out. Like, I don't want to fight. Yeah, he did start it, though. That guy had it coming. Yeah, Serge always had a job. He would have to juggle skating because he had a kid and shit. When we were filming for the video, that's when we all skated together a lot. No, we had no idea. Rick actually would push everybody to like be in the streets. His style of skating like rubbed off on all of us. Oh, wow. Matt Reason. Adrenaline. Damn. Yeah, Matt was pretty rad. I lived with Matt. He was an interesting individual for sure. But do you know how he died by any chance? Some bone disease. Yeah, that's sad, man. But yeah, Matt was awesome, man. He was a great skater too. Obviously, I was inspired by his skating, but that just was naturally how I like wanted to skate. But yeah, Matt was definitely tech, man. He had that one video part for Acme, switch tray flip down the stairs and shit. I remember seeing that footage before it was in the video and being blown away, like, holy shit, dude, that was fucking seriously amazing, man. He was ahead of his time for sure. When I went to Philly with my buddy Sam Holiday, our car got broken into, all of our shit stolen, like backpacks with clothes for the weekend, like gone, everything. Skateboards gone. Yeah, he lived in this house kind of by, I don't know if you know where that one Wawa was, but there's a street gap, like right, he lived on the alley of the street gap. Like, so you go down, so we would just skate that street gap all the time. But I just remember him being from Pittsburgh, and like, I met a bunch of the Pittsburgh dudes, so they had a house together. And yeah, that's my earliest memory of Matt. He did that checkout for 411. It was probably the last time I seen him. Like, yeah, it's been that long. Because he moved back to Pittsburgh, and then no one ever seen him. Yeah, I guess he worked at like a wine store or something. That's like the last I heard. I ran into him in Philly. We didn't even skate. I just saw him on South Street. Yeah. Yeah, that's a memory of him. He was weird, man. He had these dreads. I swear we thought he would smoke his dreads because his weed tray would be out and there'd be like a dread sitting in there with the weed. I'm like, dude, what the hell is this shit? He definitely had some weird habits, man, for sure. He would take a shower and he didn't own a towel. So he would just throw his clothes on and come out soaking wet every day. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck, man? Like, you don't bother to dry off, you just he's like, I air dry. But yeah, he used to just chill in his room and smoke weed and like listen to music and shit. He had a weird music selection too. I remember he used to listen to like a lot of Tool and stuff like that. But I was always into Black Sabbath, and then Ozzy, Canned Heat, obviously. I always really liked his switch front board slide down the rail. Yeah, definitely. Anytime we did drugs like that, we would just skate all night and like use it to our advantage. I don't know, man. I've done some shit on acid and mushrooms that I couldn't do again when I was normal. Like, you know what I mean? I would be like so hyped on just getting fucked up like that, and just because you could just skate your ass off, dude. You have energy. You don't want to stop. You actually rip, man. It's fucking sick. I remember I took too many one time. We were in Chinatown, and I was like all scared. I was like, dude, we're in the ghetto, we gotta get out of here. And he's like, no, man, it's all right. I'm like, no. Like, it just looked super scary to me. I remember taking a piss by a dumpster and a rat ran by my head. And I was so freaked out. I was like, dude, we gotta get out of here, man. And he's like, no, it's all right. I'm like, all right, I guess so. There's a little border, like, if you cross that path, you're fucked. You can't even skate. You're just tripping too hard. But just that right amount, and you're fucking ripping. Oh, wow. Yeah, I was here when he grinded that ledge. Yeah, that was sick. That was in DC. Yeah, man, that's so crazy that dude's dead. It's fucked up. Ricky brought us there on one of our, like, we went to Philly missions, and Rick would, like, bring you throughout the whole fucking city in one night. You'd be, like, struggling to keep up with him and shit. And then I didn't skate it for years, and then when we were filming for the Sub-Zero video, Matt's like, dude, we gotta film at Afro Banks. And that's the night I went there and did those tricks. Yeah, I didn't even think I could do it, and then it just worked. I kind of like started getting distant from these guys. The main ledge, yeah. Or the one that, like, you know how people would do lines from the back and hit the one with the light post? That one was pretty fun too. I liked hitting it going so you didn't have to come off the end. You could come off in the middle. I was there I was there when Vinny Aponte ollied it. But that's about it. I think I went there when Bam ollied into the water too, yeah. I tried to switch 180 at one time. I tried the one time when I filmed, I was filming for the Sub-Zero video, I wanted to get an ollie, and I landed on it a bunch of times and just piled and just couldn't walk for like days. Again, I never tried it again. I was never really that psyched on like huge drops. The switch 180 attempt, I kicked it away and I cleared it, but I got a gnarly piece of glass in my palm and I had to fucking go and cut it out and shit. So that stopped me. I don't know if I would have made it or not, but I tried. I think I saw Tim try to kickflip it once, yeah, because it took him like two goes at it to do it, I think. Maldonado was the first one to go for it.
Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, he used to come down with Wolf all the time. Dan would roll with Bam, Maldonado, and like Jimmy Chung a lot. He was sick, man. He was just Jimmy, always just like, you know, he had that smooth ass style, and he's actually like a professional golfer or something, is what I heard. Oh shit, the Rose. Yeah, I definitely sold you this one, I think. Damn, that was kind of fucking stupid. But yeah, this was rad. I don't remember what year. These are all 90s for sure. It's another Mike Hill banger, man. Like, this is an awesome graphic. I like it. He did one with the I don't know if you did I give you the Holland flower board? It's like a green one. Yeah. Yeah, that one's pretty rad too. I always like the soldier board. You know, the one with just the soldier. You got one?
It was like my grail.
You got it?
Yeah.
That's sick, dude. Hell yeah. For a while, man, I started riding, I took so much acid, I started riding longboards. Like, I was riding this 36-inch board, and they made one special for me. Like, they had them made. I was basically skating all rails and shit, but I went to Australia, and it was time to do demos and shit. Like, so I had to switch back to a regular size board, which felt all weird and awkward. The one that I switched to was the soldier's board, because it was kind of wide and like, it worked out. It ended up working out, but I remember feeling like it was too short and shit. Like, it was so weird, man, riding longboards and 64 millimeter wheels. See that? That's all garbage. That mountain, that's a garbage dump. All right, let's see. Yeah, these were rad. This was around probably 98, I think, because I remember I went and stayed with Rob Deerdick in California. We were all riding these colored boards. Yeah, this was like that era when Deerdick was like, "Yeah, man, I'm gonna start a private skate park," and he had the first TF. It was pretty rad, man. And look at everybody has them now. I mean, it's uncommon for a company to not have a skate park. I kind of like helped Wenning get on it away because my buddy Don Law was like, "Yo, you gotta check this kid out. He's fucking rad, and he's from South Jersey, and he's jumps down shit, and he's crazy." I started skating with him in the city, and I was like, "Damn, this fucker is really good." I put in a word for him, and he got on workshop. Papalardo, I was like, "Who's this Papadopoulos kid?" I don't know. I just call him Papadopoulos and shit. Once you saw his footage, you're like, no question, these kids are fucking ripping. Yeah, this brings back some memories, man. They had the yellow ones too. Do you have any yellow ones?
I have a Eve one,
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Hold it up.
Yeah, actually, until recently, I sold a couple to this guy. Yeah, I got a bunch, so I'll probably hold on to those. I have like my original board and all the earlier ones. Yeah, I'm not gonna get rid of that one. Habitat Stamp Series, yeah. Castrucci was always rad with graphics, man. Like I said, with Alien, same thing with Castrucci. You're guaranteed a good graphic every time. Yeah, I remember this board. This was 2001, maybe? When he brought it up, I was like, I don't know if I should quit Alien, and he's like, well, it's the same roof. It would still be kind of the same, but I was like so psyched on Alien, and Dill and Abe just got on and shit. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go for it, like, cause if Brian's Wenning's gonna come with me, and then we got Timo, I took a chance with it, and it worked. Worked out really good, actually.
So how many years you been on Habitat?
18 years. Jesus. Yeah, it was basically Jersey, dude, and then Kerry Getz and Danny Garcia. That's so crazy that it was basically a Jersey company, man. Wachowski's the shit, dude. Rob was always pretty, like, straight up, dude, you know what I mean? Like, he had his own style. He actually, it was funny, because we would talk so much shit on each other. I don't know if we were rivals, but he was from Jersey, I was from Jersey. He would just talk shit, and I'd hear about it, and I'd get pissed and talk shit. And then once we got on the same team, it was just like, that never happened. Like, we were just automatically cool. One of my fun times with Rob was he shot a photo of me jumping from train to train. When they used to do that, I was in Skateboarder, where the skater would show his photos. Oh, yeah. And that was one that he shot of me jumping from train to train, actually, on the same train line that we were just at. I always wanted to ollie one, but the roundness is kind of sketchy. Back then, it was like everybody had to agree. That kind of died out, man. That's shitty. You had to like approve of the team rider, and everybody had to say, give it a thumbs up, or else you weren't getting on. Now they just throw people on. And it's like, what the fuck? Yeah. So I gave Tim the okay. First time I met Tim, he showed up at Bricktown with Pancho Muller, and I was like, what the fuck? I couldn't believe it. I was like, holy shit, this dude is fucking ripping. I never seen a midget, you know what I mean? Then to see one on a skateboard doing all the fucking hot moves, it's like, wow, dude, that's fucking awesome. And yeah, and Pancho ended up being the awesomest dude too. Yeah.
Imagine that. That'd be like kicking
Yeah,
the
dude.
wall, which is fucking big.
It's insane. It was a photo too, and it was an awesome photo. Yeah, Pancho's got skills, man. I was so hyped. It was a Brooklyn Banks contest. Oh, I was probably 10. My mom was with me, and she's freaking out. I see people jumping over the wall. I'm like, boom, going for it. I didn't know that you landed a fucking highway. My mom freaked out, and she's like, don't do that again. I would be like, no way. And she's like trying to look for traffic. I'm like, Mom, you can't stand here. Like, no. You can't be over here. Don't worry. There's like, guys will look for you when you go, but no one ever looked. It was such a free-for-all. That's the exit of the Brooklyn Bridge, man. Cars are flying, and you're just going in blind over the wall, like launching. I think I saw Chris Riley. Remember that guy? He was like an early ripper, but I seen him backboard slide the big banks in the back, this 10 stair, in like 90s, like early 92 or something. And I was like, holy shit. Jeremy Henderson, Jamal Simmons, all these shot guys would show up and just destroy the place. And that was like a lot of early influence for me. Them guys were fucking awesome. Well, Jeff Pang would always launch backside 180s, super sick. Then Huff would come and just do gnarly ollies. But then when people started flipping their boards over, that was sick.
Pang, the first one to flip his board?
I think he might have been the first one to back heel it or something.
Backside flip. Oh, Harold back heel.
Yeah. Yeah, man. I got a story about Harold for you. We were skating at Astor Place, and I seen Harold's legs get runned over by a cab. Straight up run over. Boom, boom. And he just got up, and it was fine. I was like, holy shit, this dude's like a fucking cockroach, man. And Harold was a big influence on me, too. I like that clip when he does the back heel and then just like kind of like walks off his board. You know that? You know what I'm talking about? He like lands like stop but like walks off. Yeah, that's one of my favorites, man. Back when my mom was there with me, I tried to ollie them as a little kid, and I hit like the second to last stair and broke off in the cold straight to my elbow, I think, and it was like my first gnarly swellbow. And I remember just being in such pain, and I was so scared to try it again. That was like my only fuck around with the bank stairs. Yeah, she would go to Sloan's. Sloan's was like a corner store down there, and she'd get like tall boys of Budweiser and just chill while I skated all day. Yeah, she would pull her car right up. It's when you could park at the banks too. It was sick. She had this little station wagon. She would just pull right up and post up. Jeremy Henderson was one of the first, definitely the first pro I ever seen. And then Mike V, you would see from time to time. Sean Sheffy, I would see and be like, holy shit, this guy's fucking gnarly. Is it pouring? Yeah, this is like the holy grail right here, man. Photosynthesis. Yeah, the orange tape. That's so rad that they did that. Like, you know, the memory screen video was yellow. Yeah, it's rad that they do little things like that because that just gives it so much character. But yeah, this video was rad. Filming for this was cool too. It was like kind of towards the end when the Loves first started to be a bust. So that was like a lot of Love Park going on. I would go to a lot of trips to Cincinnati and film with Castrucci and them out there. Habitat was out of Dayton. Those film trips were the shit though. That's when I first met Bill. I just remember seeing him at Love Park, sitting on the ledge. I always heard Fat Bill's filmer, Fat Bill. And he was kind of fat back then. Then I became friends with him and I would stay at his house and film and shit. That was when they did use the Mr. Dibbs, right? Yeah, that was rad. Mr. Dibbs was like one of Castrucci's homies from Cincinnati. He like made this for the Habitat video, like the music. It was like specifically. I've been in bars or like random places in like Barcelona or something, and the music will come on, and I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah, actually, I did the one in the line in Chinatown in New York, and then the one over the trash can at Love. I remember Rick was like, he was there that day, and I just did the nollie hard flip, did a little shove it, and that was it. He's like, yo, why didn't you keep going, man? He's always about keep going. I'm like, I don't know, I just wanted to film a single trick, you know? And he's like, no, you should have kept going. Yeah. Like I blew it. Dill's part was pretty rad, man. I have to say Dill, and then Wedding, that's when he came out murdering the ledges and switch trays. Yeah, I was cool with Josh. It made it seem like we were like best friends when we did that interview together, but we were never that close. All right, these guys ride for Alien, let's give them a split interview. Yeah, Josh, I was always cool with Josh though. Yeah, I try not to, I don't want to be fucking beefing with anybody. I want to fucking be cool with everyone. Real tried to get me really hard. That dude, Jeff Clint, he went about it like really fucked up now that I think about it. First of all, I'm like 16 years old. Obviously money's gonna like, he's like, dude, I'll give you $2,500 a month, $5,000 to quit. So I was gonna get the bonus for $5,000 and $25 a month, which I was only getting 15 from Alien. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. But he was like saying shit like, you don't wanna be with those guys. They're not your friends. Come where your friends are. Huff's your friend. Being really fucked up. That's like manipulating a teenager, dude, with money and like, so I was like, all right, I'll do it, but you have to fly. They were gonna fly me out to SF. And I was like, you have to put Lou Metal on the team and fly him out with me. And I want the money. So Deerdeck found out about it, called me the night before I was supposed to get on the plane. And he's like, dude, what the fuck are you thinking? You can't do it. I'm like, oh man, I already told him, yeah. I'm like, I know. And he's like, what do you think? I'm like, dude, I know. I don't know what you know what I mean? They offered me all this money and shit. He's like, how much? And then he went and told Carter. He's like, dude, just don't get on that plane. He's like, I'll talk to you tomorrow. Don't get on that plane. Tomorrow came and I was like, Lou, I'm sorry, but we're not going, dude. And then I ended up, he didn't give a fuck. I ended up getting $5,000 from Alien and the $2,500. It worked out really good. Yeah, that was my first like really big payday. I was like, holy shit, dude, I got $7,500 in one check. I was like, Mom, you want to go to the Bahamas? And I brought my mom on a trip to the Bahamas for like 4 days and shit. Yeah, it was rad. Yeah, Zoo tried. I actually rode for Rodney's wheel company, Empire or something. So they put out a wheel with my name on it. I never got paid. And I was fucking really pissed off about it. I actually I was with Harold. This is a pretty funny story. At the original Zoo York that was on like 14th Street or whatever, the meatpacking district. I was leaving to get beer, and I went out the wrong door, which was a back door that went down a hallway. And then I get into the hallway, and the door behind me just closes and locks. And now I'm stuck in this part of the building that I've never been in, and I'm fucking stuck. No cell phones, nothing. I'm like, dude, I'm gonna be stuck here. So I started kicking the wall. I broke a bunch of sheetrock. I was gonna try to like break out, I guess. And then there was a bell, like a fire bell, and I found something. I kept going ding real loud. The people who were in the building, the office downstairs, actually heard me and let me out. And I'm like, thank God or whatever. And then the next day, the wall that I kicked in led into their office. So they freaked out. Jeff Penn called me and he's like, dude, you gotta call Rodney, man. Like, he's freaking out. Or, what was that dude's name? Dude that worked for Zoo. Adam. He's like, you gotta call Adam. So I call Adam. He's like, dude, you owe us fucking $1,200 or whatever. I'm like, yo, Rodney never paid me for my wheels, so we're even, motherfucker. No, it was never like stable enough. But actually, Robbie Gangemi, when he started Vehicle, it was originally supposed to be me, Huff, and Robbie. I agreed to do that, and when it came down to it, Huff backed out, and then I obviously backed out, and Robbie was like fucking pissed. Like, he was pissed for years about that. I don't blame him, but I made the right choice, so I almost went for Vehicle.
Yeah.
That would have been like a really step down.
Yeah.
I fucking rode for DC, man.
Yeah.
And they had me on drawers. I was getting paid for drawers. DC was like, oh, we gotta put you on like a 6-month trial period and then you'll start to get paid. And within that 6 months, I got a fucking DUI, crashed my truck, hurting for money. Bill Weiss was like, dude, ride for Rex. I'll pay you $5,000 a month and give you a shoe. I'm like, fuck, dude, DC, man, like, if I would have, I should have, that was a big mistake. What a career fucking mistakes, man. So I did it, rode for Rex, got paid for maybe 7-8 months. My shoe came out and they went out of business. And then I didn't have a shoe sponsor for like a couple years after that, like getting stuff from Lakai or like whoever. And then iPath came back around and I got solid with them. Half cabs for sure. I mean, Vans Classics, the low ones, were the shit. I would cut the tongues out of like half cabs and like tape them in there so they would be like puffy and shit. And then also if you cut like, if you made a razor slice like right here, it would like make them puff out more. Definitely half cabs for sure. I used to make half cabs out of full cabs, cut them down and shit. Betty boy. He was the couch dude at Huff's house. Him and Chris Keefe, Huff and Chris had a room and Ben just had the couch. Liver Sledge, man, he was the shit, dude. He was a great guy. The first thing that pops into my head is like when he had that ad doing like the pole ride to Fakey on Fort Miley. Baby Thug. The Dill Man, yo. Bandcamp. That's an inside joke. He'll know what I mean. It has to do with staying in San Francisco when we were like on a filming mission back in the day. They sent me and Dill out there in a hotel for 10 days with no filmer. We were just getting fucked up off our asses because we had nothing to do. And then finally Bill flew out, or maybe it was Castrucci, but I rolled my ankle that first day and flew right home. So I got one trick during that mission. It was the switch ollie over the California Street Gap with the camo pits. Geographic, National Geographic. Castrucci's the man too, he's a fucking great guy. Woo Welsh, Wu Tang. That Spitfire part he had when he spits in Hurley's face and then he just does that ollie on the one hill. The gnarliest ollie ever from back then too. Javi hands. Hi, I'm Javier Nunez. I'm from Bayonne, New Jersey. You remember that one? He was such a baby, man. That's sick, dude. Javi turned out. He came up, man. He's good, doing real good for himself. He skated for Dead End. Vinny, Dead End Vinny. Momo. Yeah, man. I remember Maurice used to fucking skate with a gun in his backpack, dude. He would pack a gun at the skate spot. I stayed with Keenan for like a month one time in LA. I didn't really know him that well, and I just was staying with Deerneck, and I went up to LA because of the trade show. Everyone on Zoo York was at Keenan's for a week. Everyone flew home, and I just stayed because me and Keenan became such good friends. We would just roll dice. I remember I owned like half of his wardrobe at one point because we were gambling for shoes and Nike fucking jackets and all kinds of crazy wild times at that house, man. It would go back and forth, but I had I had broke and half of his wardrobe. And he would not stop. He would not give up. Dude, I remember leaving with like fucking 4 pairs of shoes like that he bought, not skate shoes. Like Timberlands or like Clark's. QC, man. Quim time, yeah. That's the man, yo. I grew up skating with him and Mike. I met him at this contest in Watchung, and it was the 12 and under section. And we were like rivals. Every contest we'd be at, it'd be like either I won, Mike won, or Quim won. It was like going all back and forth. It was like kind of rivalish, and then like we just became totally friends and like started skating together all the time and shit. And Teddy Becks, Mosaic. Yep, this was when they started sending us to like Barcelona and shit to film. Tim O'Connor, Barcelona. This was the second Habitat video, right? No, the first full length, yeah. Yeah, filming for this video was a lot of fun. Once again, they did a white one this time, which is awesome. But yeah, this video was probably one of the funnest times ever. Like that's when like we really started going on a lot of trips. The team came really tight. Probably Danny Renaud's part. Yeah. Yeah, Danny was rad, man. That was like my son. When I was staying in LA with Jason Dill, Danny and Ryan Nix were like runaways that were like 15, and they were staying with this woman that was like 30. Dill's like, that's it, Freddie, you can't stay at my house no more. You gotta go stay with the Dirts. I'm like, who's the Dirts? And he's like, Danny. And I'm like, all right, whatever, fuck it. So I never met him, and I ended up living with them for like 2 months at this chick Rita's house. And I remember I would get fucking so frustrated and annoyed with them too. I would want to kill them, dude. I'd be like, they'd never have money, so I was like taking care of both of them, buying them beer every night, like just like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill you. You're annoying me, you fucking shit. But yeah, they ended up being good kids though.
Makes no difference, but it makes no difference what you think of me. Once again I'm free.
Of myself, probably Inhabitants. That was one that I didn't really have to like, I just had so much footage already, so it came very easily. It was like a lot of rad traveling and shit too. They would send us on trips with Lou Metal as the TM, basically, our guidance counselor. Dude, he would come home from those trips and be stressed for like a week, and we would put him through hell. We were in Kentucky. It was on the SOB tour, that slap tour that we did with Mary and Dill. And Lou was on it, and I got blacked out on whiskey. And Lou, at one point in his life, was like a fake backyard wrestler type dude. Like, he would actually do the backyard wrestling. So I come home wasted, and he's like passed out on the floor in a sleeping bag. And I'm like, hey, Lou! And I just totally elbow dropped him, and he fucking flipped out and kicked me in the face as hard as he could. and broke his foot on my face and had to like leave the trip the next day. I destroyed the hotel room. I remember I impaled a chair into the mattress because I was like fucking blacked out. I just got kicked in the face, so my face was all busted and swollen and shit. Me and Danny Renaud had a rental, and Merring and them had a rental. Danny wanted to go to Nashville really bad, and they didn't want to go. So we just woke up, or didn't go to sleep. It was like 6 in the morning by then. And I'm like, I'm not dealing with this hotel shit, let's go. So we just stole the rental and fucking drove to Nashville. So by the time they woke up, we were in Nashville, and they had to deal with the damages, and like fucking, they were pissed. And that got taken out of my check. Carter was always cool about that, dude. I should have been kicked off so many times, destroying hotel rooms, and they would always just take it out of my check. But I did it so many times. I was a habitual offender on that shit, man. Where it was, the line was drawn was in Barcelona when me and destroyed that apartment. But we put like 8 people on the street. We had to pay for their hostels, got kicked out, $13,000 worth of damage or something. It was coming out of multiple checks that time. I would be like, dude, you gotta at least take half out this month and half out next month. Danny got kicked off, but Danny wasn't even staying with us. He got kicked off for like going crazy on some other shit. We destroyed the place. I had a cast on. I like smashed all the dishes. Everything was done. Once we finished breaking the place, we were like, fuck, we gotta get rid of this shit. So we started like bringing it into the alleyway. Someone saw us, so they called the owner and was like, it looks like there's robbing the place. And the owner walks in. She's like, oh my God, and started crying, dude. And she's like, you guys gotta go, I'm calling the cops. I go, we got robbed. She's like, what? I'm like, yeah, we got robbed. That didn't last very long, you know? Yeah, we had to leave immediately, like pack what we can and get on the street. So we're at Makba, 8 dudes with all their shit. And I ended up, guess where I ended up staying at? A fucking whorehouse, dude. Our buddy Akhchov, Josh down in Newport, and Danny were staying with this dude Akhchov. And they're like, there's a curfew though. I'm like, what are you talking about, curfew? It ended up, his mom was running a whorehouse out of the house. So once midnight came around, you had to leave and you couldn't come home till 4. I was making fun of them and then I ended up staying there. And I remember I slept, I came home from like a rough day or whatever, and I passed out. And I'm like, oh shit, it's like past 11, I gotta go. And I just hear, like some chick getting banged. And we'd go into the rooms, and there'd be like condoms and all kinds of tissues and shit in the garbage. It was gnarly, man. I literally stayed at a whorehouse.
You're searching for your mind, don't know where to start. Can't find the key to fit the lock on your heart. You think
first published photo I had in Transworld, in any skateboard magazine, was a trick tip, and Fred is on the reverse page, or the page before, and I think his is a trick tip as well. And I think Fred is doing, it might be something crazy like an impossible nose one slide. It's something really advanced, and I'm like, wow, that's some shit. To me, where Fred grew up was like, even though it's still North Jersey, it's like that's like Central Jersey. I would only see Fred and Mike and Kim sparingly in those days. What's also interesting is that I think I saw maybe Fred in the magazines before I ever saw him in person. So it was like, yeah, that's Fred Gall, you know, like I knew who he was. The Sub-Zero video, I used to watch that part religiously. In many respects, like Fred is the father of like winning skating, you know, that like slouched over tech ledge skating. I love tech ledge skating. In one way, the Love Park footage of Fred is like equal to me in the same way that all the Lockwood stuff is. He's like the Guy Mariano of the East Coast.